You know that feeling when you meticulously plan every single detail of your day and then the universe just decides to throw a massive wrench into the whole thing? Welcome to this explainer. Today, we're diving straight into the profound existential themes hidden inside the echoes of inherent chaos. We're going to unpack 6 completely distinct philosophical avatars to figure out exactly how these different voices interpret the very fabric of existence and how they handle that raw, unmitigated randomness we all have to deal with.
There is this chilling thought from the skeleton warrior that really sets the stage for us perfectly. It is in the nature of chaos to leave one unawares. That quote perfectly captures our journey today. We're looking at how different entities view existence, luck, and the sheer chaotic nature of the universe. It's a pretty stark reminder that no matter how much control we think we have over our daily lives, chaos is always that underlying rule, just waiting to catch us off guard.
To really wrap our heads around this, we're going to map these philosophies across a cosmic spectrum. We want to contrast their views on chaos and existence to see what we can learn from them. So we're moving from the active, human-like opportunism of the pirate captain through the structural destruction of the melee droid, all the way down to the ultimate, inescapable forces of thermodynamics and entropy. Let's see how this builds from the deeply personal all the way to the cosmic.
Let's kick things off with Section 1. Opportunists and skeptics, navigating the randomness.
We're jumping right into 2 creatures who have completely opposite reactions to life's inherent randomness. Think about it. Are you the type to ride the storm, or do you kind of just give up and expect the worst? The pirate captain is your ultimate opportunist. He actively uses chaos as the actual wind in his sails. To him, unpredictability is just a tool to be exploited. But then you contrast that with the skeleton warrior. The skeleton looks at your meticulously color-coded planner and sees a total delusion. To him, the universe's random devastation proves that trying to prepare for literally anything is absolutely hopeless.
Actually, the skeleton takes this passive dread even further, turning it into a pretty harsh critique of society itself. Being a literal husk, he argues that our language, our symbols, they're all hollow. They're basically just theater we put on to pretend we're in control, masking a universe that genuinely doesn't care. He doesn't see the future as something you can strategize for. No, he sees it as this looming, awesome thundercloud that's perpetually ready to wipe the slate completely clean.
Moving on to Section 2. Architects of psychological ruin, societal burnout. Okay, so we've talked about the natural thundercloud of chaos, but what happens when chaos isn't natural at all, but artificially created by society itself? Enter the melidroid. This entity represents the ultimate collective rivulet, which honestly is just a highly philosophical way of describing that soul-crushing bureaucratic red tape designed specifically to waste your time and burn you out. It brilliantly illustrates how structural burnout operates as a snare for anyone the collective deems useless or non-conforming.
The truly terrifying thing here is that the droid doesn't blow you up with weapons or physical demolition. No, it destroys you with paperwork and monotony. First, it subtly twists the mind early on in life. Then it institutes mundane, endless boredom to just slowly bleed your time away. And ultimately, this incredibly methodical process completely wrecks any individual potential that doesn't perfectly align with the collective machine. It is literally chaos weaponized through absolute dullness.
Which brings us to a massive existential question for us as we try to survive all this. If the very society we've built is designed to slowly destroy our individual potential through artificial burnout, how on earth are we supposed to navigate the raw, inherent chaos of the natural world? I mean, how do we even begin to compare the unmitigated randomness of nature with these cruel, artificial structures we built for ourselves?
Let's explore that in Section 3. Observers of artificial chaos, evolution versus artificiality.
To answer that question, we turn to the anthropologist entity Akari, who points out a tragic, honestly almost darkly comedic irony. Animals, like moon bears for instance, naturally adapt to the chaos of survival. They literally evolved to climb trees to escape larger predators. They flow with the randomness. But primates, us humans, we do the exact opposite. We build these rigid, artificial cages, cubicles, traffic jams, weird societal norms that actually trap us inside the chaos rather than helping us escape it.
Akari puts it so devastatingly simply, to quote, "Even though all of life is subject to randomness and chaos, not all create structures around it to solidify and almost calcify such chaos." That just perfectly captures the tragic irony of the human condition. We take the fluid, beautifully random nature of the universe's origin, and we build our own unyielding prisons out of it. We take a dynamic universe and turn it into a calcified cage of our own making.
Which leads us to the final end of our cosmic spectrum in Section 4, entropy and the zero sum, isolation and the frigid frontier. As we completely leave human society behind to explore the cosmic extreme of our spectrum, we meet the Yeti. But hold on, this isn't the big physical monster from the movies. The Yeti calls itself a monad, a solitary entity totally separated in time and space. Think of it as a physical manifestation of that profound, isolated emptiness humans feel when they push themselves to the absolute brink of their sanity and physical endurance.
If we break down the ingredients of the Yeti myth, we see it's essentially a psychological mirror. It is literally built from 30% extreme exhaustion and 30% gaps in our objective reality, mixed right in with raw human fear and high-altitude gossip. It's an avatar born entirely out of the human mind, struggling against an incredibly indifferent, chaotic environment.
And that brings us to our final, and honestly, perhaps most terrifying avatar, the snow monster. This entity represents the inescapable, unfeeling laws of thermodynamics itself. As it says, it is all a frigid frontier, and iota comes out of a zero-sum system.
The snow monster just strips away every single comforting illusion we cling to. It asserts that the biological warmth we cherish so deeply is really nothing more than a rare, localized illusion. The reality? The universe is predominantly a frigid, forsaken frontier running on a strict zero-sum system. To this absolute force of entropy, luck isn't just, finding 20 bucks on the sidewalk. Luck is the absolute rarest currency required simply to exist against all cosmic odds.
Finally, let's wrap this up with Section 5, Surviving the Cosmic Storm, Synthesizing the Spectrum.
So what are we supposed to actually take away from this entire gallery of existential dread? Well, if we look at all these perspectives together, we get a highly comprehensive map for navigating chaos. You could be the pirate captain and seize the fleeting wind of circumstance. You could be the skeleton warrior, finding peace by accepting that perfect preparation is totally futile. You might heed the dire warnings of the melee droid Nakari to avoid the calcifying traps of society. Or you can acknowledge the vast, indifferent void shown by the Yeti and Snow Monster and realize just how incredibly precious your reality really is.
When you boil the whole shebang down, out of a near-infinite, perfectly indifferent, zero-sum universe ruled by thermodynamics, you have been granted precisely one single exponentiating iota of existence. You got the absolute rarest currency there is, exactly one chance to live, to experience warmth, and to make choices. Which leaves us with this final provocative thought to carry with you. In a zero-sum universe overflowing with inherent chaos, will you ride the storm like the pirate, or will you let the frigid frontier claim your future? Ultimately, how will you choose to navigate your own inherent chaos?